Hello everyone, we are Gaming by Gaslight and welcome to Villagers, a little indie city building type game that's coming out March 25th, the same day I might add as Batman vs Superman, which I am also incredibly excited for. But yes, the developers were kind enough to provide me with an early key to the game so I could, show it off and stuff. So let us jump right on in. Let's start with the campaign, which I believe serves kind of as a tutorial way to get familiar with everything. So let's have a look. This is the story of Gaming by Gaslight, a young man who managed to shine a ray of hope into a pitch-black tunnel of despair at a time when war and illness ruled a world filled with darkness. Nasty winds blew around him, strong winds of pungent adversities, there we go. Always takes me a couple tries, but I can get it. I can get the words eventually. Trying to extinguish the light. Even when Gaming by Gaslight couldn't see much in the darkness, and was almost blind, he always laid his hand successfully around the flame. I'm assuming that's me, striking an epic pose as I stand against this evil Dark Lord with his ball and chain. Morning Star, right? That's what that weapon's called. I've got my awesome spear. And what is that, another weapon of some kind? Sometimes so close that he was in danger of burn. Oh wait, no, that's the torch. Durr. What did I think that was? Maybe I need glasses. I wear glasses, but maybe I need more glasses. Sometimes so close that he was in danger of burning. As he was but a child, Oh. What's wrong, Jekyll? Why don't you continue? It is a shame to admit, being the writer I am, but I am lost for words. Really? We cannot accept this. Let's do something about it. Host, bring us a bottle of your best wine. Ursula, are you trying to soften me with this devilish alcohol? We agreed to celebrate today. Let's treat ourselves to something special. Delicious. Where was I? This sickness of Gaming by Gaslight. Sick? I'm sick. Oh no. Whatever will I do? Let me start a long time ago, back in our hero's childhood. He had a little brother with whom he lived in the countryside. How do you know about my past? Who told you these things? Gaming by Gaslight was as little as 2 stacked boots. Wow. It's hard to believe I was ever as small as 2 stacked boots. And yet, there we are. He had a little brother with whom he lived in a tiny settlement far away in a rural area. Incidentally, that's actually more or less true of my childhood. His parents took care of them well, providing them with prey from the woods. They paid great attention to making their children learn to survive the cruel wilderness. One day, they went out hunting with their father. However, the children couldn't concentrate and began to argue, which led to a terrible accident. That does sound like me and my brother when we were kids. Their father, annoyed by his children squabbling and feeling the pressure from having to provide a meal for his family, accidentally stepped into his own trap, dying a terrible death. Oh no. Oh no, that's awful. Gaming by Gaslight, filled with fear and terror, fled the scene and ran into the forest, while his brother ran to the settlement. That does sound like me, running into the forest. Yes. Neither of them have seen each other since that fateful day, and Gaming by Gaslight even forgot his name. I could never forget my brother's name. It's all very sad. That may be, but it all turned out well for Gaming by Gaslight in the end. The runaway child was found and taken in by farmers a few days later in a place far away from his home and spent his remaining childhood there. Gaming by Gaslight was plagued by a guilty conscience which he tried to atone for through hard work. He was convinced that he could only undo his sins by doing good deeds. Gaming by Gaslight was self-educated from very early on and taught himself a great many skills. Every time he paid a visit to a big city, he used every chance he got to talk to its inhabitants and gain more knowledge. The farmers recognized his potential and put him in charge of managing the farmyard as soon as he was old enough. I think we should talk a little about the war. Ah yes, the war. So many faded memories that we literally had to bury. Evil Dark Lord there with his giant metallic, Which direction are you facing, sir? Anyway. Oh wait, no, that's that guy's sword. Don't ask what I thought that was. One day, I clearly need better glasses. I can't, anyway. One day it simply broke out without warning and without any prior political negotiations. An enemy who they soon claimed to call the Faceless. That's understandable. He doesn't appear to have a face. Is that my brother? I hope not. I expected more of him. Invaders from the northeast, all wearing the same... no, because my brother went back to the village. Surely he didn't end up becoming this dude. Invaders from the northeast, all wearing the same bizarre metal masks and coming from countries that previously only our boldest explorers had ever seen. Without thinking much about his strategy, our king sent his troops out to blindly attack the enemy. That's some king we got. I'm glad I didn't vote for him. The losses were devastating, and we seemed to be no match for the enemy. Every available man was called up to fight as a soldier. Every boy that was able to hold a weapon was sent to the front line. The king rejected all dissenting voices regarding his this harsh decision of his. Word quickly spread about his plans, and many families fled. Not only did they want to put as much distance as they could between themselves and the war, they also did not want to lose their men to the fires of battle. Luckily, there were a few dukes that were opposed to the king's decision and who decided to protect the people as best they could. And that brings us to Albrectus. Ah yes, Duke Albrectus. Not exactly the most trustworthy person in the world. My, this is a long story. Initially, he was unwilling to lay his cards on the table, but when he turned up at GamingByGaslight's farm one day, he did not hesitate to assert his authority. The devious, sleazy, and condescending man claimed that he had been sent on behalf of the king to gather up all available men in the area. He made a big display of authority, entering people's houses and having them searched. That's when he came across GamingByGaslight sketches. Sketches? Oh no. Ah yes, the famous sketches. GamingByGaslight had to save a lot of money to be able to afford parchment and charcoal, but he had spent day and night designing complex cities. Running the farm had inspired him to do great things, and his ideas were not as absurd as one might have thought. After conducting extensive discussions with architects and planners living in the big city, GamingByGaslight designed technically feasible settlements, villages, and yes, even entire cities. Damn right I did. GamingByGaslight was talented, and although the king's orders were clear, this gave Albrectus pause. He had a suggestion for him. He said, "You may be surprised to find that I have heard of you before, GamingByGaslight." Ah, that's Albrectus. Look at that lovely... You can tell just by his facial hair that he's definitely not trustworthy. A young man with an extraordinary talent for city planning, although he has never learned from a master. Don't ask me how I know about you, but please, I'd like you to consider the following deal. Take all the people from this farm and your direct neighbors in the area with you and build a self-sufficient settlement within a year. I don't care how and where you do it. If you manage to do so, I will recommend you to the king as a city planner. After all, when the war is over, we will need people like you to help rebuild the country. Provided we win, of course. Ha 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 ha. I don't know why, but I feel he's the guy who laughs after saying stuff like that. And in keeping with my generosity, boundless no doubt, I will ensure that your men are excluded from being called up. How very generous of you, sir. However, if you fail, I will immediately revoke all protection. Of course you will. GamingByGaslight felt numb. Suddenly, all eyes were on him, and the lives of many people were depending on his reply. He was unable to utter a word. He gave the Duke his hand, who took it gladly, with a gleeful grin on his face. The deal was sealed. And this is where we began the building. These are dark times, which is why you should view this opportunity as a particularly precious one. I envy you for it. How I wish sometimes that I could be a simple laborer and make a home for myself, rather than having to help rule with the leaders of the world. That is a bold-faced lie, sir. You would never give up your riches and power. Albrectus departed, and thus GamingByGaslight found himself in a most peculiar situation. Suddenly he had a responsibility that he had neither asked for, nor was he ready to bear. Fate was obviously putting him to the test once more, despite him having already suffered so much in childhood. Albrectus. Where's my beard? I have no beard. Oh, I'm a young man. I haven't grown the beard yet, apparently. Let's see. Albrectus is demanding that this virginal land in front of me become a settlement. But where on earth should I start? He may as well have asked me to get a couple of porcupines to mate. You know, that actually leads me to a good question. How do porcupines mate? The answer, very carefully. Ah ha 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 ha. Ha ha. Alright then, concentrate. We need a central place for planning the city. A roof over our heads, from where I can allocate jobs to people. Something new is available. Aha! Town hall. Place your town hall near the big river. Your villagers need a nearby water resource. Gotcha. I mean, that makes sense. Let's see here. Oh. There we go. And it makes sense. Most towns started near villages. Hello there, sir. Craig, huh? I need to rename you. No, I can't. That's unfortunate. Michael, Juliana, Nicholas, Emma, and then Craig again. What are you troubled by? You have no home. That's understandable. My happiness leads to faster, healthier, and more fertile villagers. That makes sense. You're saturated with hunger. I assume that means that your stomach is full. He has no tools. Has high health. His partner is Juliana. Huzzah! Yay, our first achievement as well. My dear friend, a workman like me can only help you if you give me a job. My friends and I will be in the town hall awaiting your orders. Wait! Wait, Ewald. We've known each other since we were children. I'm so pleased to have a familiar face on my side. Ah, come on, there's no need to get sentimental. Just tell me what we're supposed to do with the resources. Don't forget, we laborers are the only ones who will carry them to the building site for you, and we can build whatever you like with them. My head is already spinning, and we've barely done anything yet. If only I had something to write all this down on. Where'd you come from, Schultfies? Probably mispronouncing that. I should be in the forest, ramming my sharp blades into wild animals and carrying them home for wow, that sounds rather aggressive of you. Instead, Albrectus has sent me to this simpleton who probably can't even spell the word city plant. Well, it's not like I had a school, Mr. Schultfies. I am just a peasant. The Duke sent you? You look like a hunter, not a city planner. Well, yes, sir, I am a hunter. Watching a child playing at being an architect isn't exactly a fulfilling alternative to the thrill of the hunt. And as for taking notes, a robust notebook with a lever case. Is that for me? How generous. Wow, I've always wanted my own notebook with a lever case. Someday. Is that for me? How generous. From then on, GamingByGaslight wrote everything in his notebook. An excellent method, which I can't recommend enough. Yes, notebooks are very useful. I've got to hand it to you, GamingByGaslight. You're a master at casting your followers back into the bleak and barbaric time of the Dark Ages. You've even managed to outdo the bandit baron Arcarius. Arcarius? You mean the terrible... Stop interrupting, Ursel. Be patient, my love. We'll get to that spawn of Satan later on in our story. What are you talking about, Ewald? Has the fresh air gotten to your head? It most certainly has. And that's how everyone else who has been forced to sleep outside feels too. We need somewhere to live. We need homes. You should start building houses immediately. Of course, of course. Also, what's this? Main building. Villagers will sleep in front of the town. We can have people sleeping in front of the town hall. We need wood to do that. I'm sure we can help ourselves to wood from the forest. As long as wild animals don't help themselves to us. Oh dear. Without a doubt, GamingByGaslight had to spend lots of time managing resources. However, using the gathering symbols, he could keep an eye on everything. That word, bugger it, I'll save my breath. For example, GamingByGaslight had to tell his people they had to get resources like wood. Indeed, using the gathering symbols, it was easy for him to give orders. Laborers then immediately commenced their new task. Yay! Alright, what do we got here? Gather wood. Alright. Are there hotkeys for these things? I am not sure. Alright, so I just kind of click and drag. What's this? Those are like reeds, so we probably don't want to set too much, right? Oh wow, I can really speed time up. Brilliant! But yes, definitely hotkeys and like a little tooltip thing so I can see, winter is coming. It's always coming. Let's pause while we're listening to this guy. Also, there, so I don't accidentally. GamingByGaslight, this wood from the forest is strong and resilient. I like your enthusiasm. Let's find a place for it. We've got plenty of solid ground and land where we can build houses for everyone. Let's make one thing clear. I don't want to live too close to the edge of the forest. Thick woodland always gets me the feeling I'm being watched by something evil. Gotcha. So villagers don't like living too close to the forest.
You have finished a quest.
Huzzah! What's the next quest? Let's see. Houses should be placed close to the town center to avoid long walking paths. That makes sense. Oh. There we go. Let's zoom on it. Whoop. What button did I press to rotate there? Q and E, of course it was. Let's pause. Alright, yeah, there doesn't seem to be, as far as I can tell, any hotkeys yet. But the game is, in fact, you know, it's not finished yet, so understandably, no, I can't do anything like that. All right, so no, I want to zoom back in. Let's see here. I can only make the one house. So clearly I need to gather more wood. Okay. Chop it all down. Oh, and also get time going. We need more wood. Oh, doesn't matter whether you're big or small, strong or weak, smart as a whip, or dumb as a box of rocks. At the end of the day, everyone is conquered by this one simple thing. Piece of wisdom from a foolish bard. Please enlighten us. It's obviously food. The answer is hunger. And when your stomach is rebelling, there's no way of thinking... Oh, look, there's someone on a boat over there. My stomach. I should have brought food with me. My somewhat modest hunting skills have withered and died, seeing as I haven't used them over the past few years. Finally, something for me to do. Neither you nor your laborers can carry out work on empty stomachs. I'll show you how to pull big fish out of the lake. You weren't sent by the Duke. You've been sent from heaven. Oh, come on. I'm not gonna... Let's not flatter this guy's ego too much. Before we get to that, though, you need a jetty.
New quest.
Gotcha. That would be under public, no? Production? What is a jetty?
Finished.
Oh. Yay! With their partners, where they reproduce, store food, and generally be happier. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Banished, actually. Finally, we've got somewhere to live. Now, if you'll excuse me, my wife and I have a family to start. Whoa, you're sure are in a hurry, my friend. Well, the stars and my private life are aligned at the moment. A man's got to seize his opportunities where he can, and know when he can produce his most fertile juices, right? You're a funny one, Ewalt. Oh goodness, that was a little too much information. Yes, I concur with myself. What do you mean? Sure you haven't gotten any more baby-making secrets to tell me, Jacqueline. Well now, I'll save that delicate topic for the colder seasons of the year. Let's just say storks deliver babies. Are we actually gonna get like a stork show up? That would be funny. Gather wood for the jetty, build free houses. Okay, we're gonna have to do a lot of industrial level clearing here. All of it. We need no forest. We need lots of houses. And I think what I'll do is I will cut away and I will come back when we actually have all our houses.
The building is finished.
A small house, but lots of peace and quiet. I think we've built enough houses for the moment. We should have a rest. Okay. Alright, well, we still need a bit more wood. I need my jetty, dash it all. Ah, there we go. And, let's see. How do I fit this in here? Oh my. Not really the only place I can fit it. I guess it is. Oh. Ah, there we go. There we go. I want it close to this house because I presume that the game will prioritize putting people who work here with like the fishermen will live here is what I'm trying to say. Yes. What's this have to say? Poverty always finds a way to you, but I hope the jetty will lead us away from it. I should commission it immediately so that we can catch some fish. Yes, we should. Alright, so basically this has all been just the kind of beginner tutorial, get the idea of how the game works and stuff. Also, I can kind of see through the mists of time there and see the tavern floor. At least I'm assuming it's the tavern floor. It could be anything, really. It could just be the town hall. And this is like the map of the world. And this is going to take a little while, apparently.
The building is finished.
Yes! Alright, sign villagers to profession, click on the town hall and click the plus button. Gotcha. Alright, incredibly large, immensely powerful, and inconceivably magnificent. Are you talking about your ego? Haha, good old Ewalt. Ah, what cards, Wallop? I'm describing the fish that I'm going to pull out the water when the new jetty is built. Send me 2 villagers from the town hall and we'll catch a feast to remember. To Gaming by Gaslight's relief, the people were independent enough that once allocated, they continued carrying out their jobs until he reallocated them. Something one can't always say about you, Jacqueline. Excuse me? Oh, nothing. That's my attempt at a feminine giggle.
New quest.
Alrighty then. Yeah, this actually does remind me a little bit of Banished, actually.
You have finished a quest.
Yay! We have a town hall, a jetty, some food, and a roof over our heads. That's certainly a start. To be honest, it's more than I expected. A young man organizing a whole village? Well, we live in an age where I would never have thought it was possible, and it's certainly not something you see every day. It's time to set your preconceptions aside, my good man Schulteis. I know how to use my head just like every other person. You know what, Ursel? Gaming by Gaslight has failed miserably. What? What are you talking about? I don't feel like continuing my story. I need something to wet my whistle. Quick, bring this man a flag and a veil. A grumpy writer needs a drink to be able to tell a decent story. And of course, Gaming by Gaslight did it. The foundations of a new village had been laid. I've got to say, I like this man. Ah yes, I've also got a soft spot for him. Oh, not in the way that you think, though. Ha ha ha. Every day you should start with a happy song. It helps clear your vocal cords and your soul. Shake off the burdens that dreams have laid upon your shoulders in the night. Well, that's a piece of wisdom you must know about as a bard. Even Gaming by Gaslight sang that morning. The song was sung timidly and with great embarrassment at first. That does sound like me. But his heart commanded it. That also sounds like me. Happiness flowed through his body until he stumbled upon the old and fairly grumpy Benlin. Benlin? So it's true. I presume that Albrechtus had been having a laugh, but the fool really did give an inexperienced youngster the job of planning a city. My good lord, are you Benlin, the King's Supreme City Planner? It's an honor to welcome you to my humble settlement. I'm not sure that honor is right word to use here. I'm sure that the men from this community would be put to far better use in the war in the Northeast, rather than as part of your doomed settlement. What a complete and utter waste. Talk about putting a dampener on things for poor Gaming by Gaslight. He stopped singing. Instead, his thoughts were focused on maintaining and extending the settlement, but first he wants to find out more about Benlin. Excuse me, but what do we owe the pleasure of your company? Seems that you're here to monitor me. Exactly. Albrechtus sent me to report back on you regularly. Our enemies have seized more land in the Northeast. New men are being called up for our army every day. It's hard to imagine that there is a war going on elsewhere. It's so peaceful here. You'd best pray that it stays that way, and keep providing me with reasons why I should spare your settlement from being called to duty. Albrechtus swears by your city planning talents. If that is indeed the case, we'll need you to help us rebuild the country after the war has ended. Duke Albrechtus said something similar a few days ago. There's a lot of pressure on Gaming by Gaslight. A war on the horizon, Benlin on Gaming by Gaslight's case, winter around the corner. The future is not looking bright. Whoa! What are those strange creatures? Are they circus performers? Indeed they are. They're traveling the country heading southwest. All cowards fleeing from the war like rats from a sinking ship. But what use would they be in the war zones? Even the most talented of artists would be unable to put a smile on a recent widow's face. Certainly don't mince your words, Benlin. The presence of the artist seems to have cheered up my villagers to no end. I'm going to welcome them with open arms. However, the artist's smiles were hiding an inner pain. They spoke in whispers of a mysterious illness that had came into the country along with the Faceless army. Oh no. Faceless. Describing them as such still seems rather bizarre. The simple folk adopted this name for the enemies from the Northeast quite quickly, not just because of their metal masks, but also because of the rumor that they had caused Black Death. Ah yes, the plague. I've heard those rumors too. Apparently the Faceless are immune to the illness. Well, they're only rumors. Perhaps their simultaneous appearance was a coincidence, but the fear of the illness of the plague, well, it was omnipresent. It hung in the air and was almost palpable. I don't want to sound like a scaredy cat, but all these rumors about the plague that's supposedly spreading inland. Say no more, Aolt. Makes me feel quite queasy too. In light of these circumstances, I'd like to suggest building a bridge. This would mean that in an emergency, you could leave, head over the water, and further southwest. Leave? I'd never consider leaving. We couldn't just abandon everything that we've established here. Well, yes, fate might protect you and spare you from the plague, but if it reaches your village, are you sure you'd want to put our lives at risk just because of your stubbornness? You described the circus performers as cowards earlier, and now you're suggesting I make escape plans? But Benlin's right, Gaming by Gaslight. We should build a bridge, just in case, just for emergencies. And perhaps it'd be better if you held your tongue a little when talking to him. Good point, good point. Well, I'd best follow your advice, dearest Benwin. Rock. And roll. Excuse me, I don't follow. Sorry, sometimes ideas just burst out of my mouth. You should mine stone so we can build the bridge. Couldn't we also use other resources for that, like wood? Well now, do you see the scar here on my hip? Ewald, pull your trousers up. Oh my. Oh, when I was a young boy, I had an accident on a wooden bridge and splinters dug right into my body. So I'm never going near a wooden bridge again. I understand. Alright then, stone it is.
New quest.
Alrighty then. Alright, so we can now tell people to gather stone. Which will presumably also allow us to build fancier houses. But, I think for now, that's going to do it for this episode. As it's been going on a little bit longer than I had initially intended. But, I mean, this looks like a pretty fun game, and I'm looking forward to playing more of it. I hope you guys are as well. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you want to see more of this? Would you like this to be its own series on the channel or not? And, yeah, stuff like that. Let me know what you think. And, in the meantime, though, thank you as always for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video.